in 3, 2. Wait, let's start from higher. 20.
If you don't keep counting down from 20, I'm going to be mad. Do it.
No, I'm not going to do it.
19, 18,
17. I caved so quick. 16, 15,
14,
13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Please take your seats. School is now in session.
Welcome to Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschooled.
The Homeschooled Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
It's time to document the journey. Welcome back to Homeschooled Podcast. I'm Augustino Zoida. Welcome back, everybody. And welcome back, Kevin Lyons, who is the only co-host that will ever be the co-host of Homeschooled Podcast, who's not around so much anymore. But you got your own shit going on, but that's cool. But I'm glad we got you today. So it's just a little one-on-one with me and Kev. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who came out to the shows this past weekend in Paso Robles. They were phenomenal. 2 sold-out shows, and it was just great. I mean, I got to give a big thank you to Nick Guerra and Edie Gibson. They helped make it a great show. Between the 3 of us, it was just fire. Everybody loved it, and I mean, the venue was just like in a rush to have us back right away. So thank you, everybody who came out, made some new friends and some new fans. And if you guys haven't seen me live yet, you want to get on that shit, okay? So that I'm home for a little bit now, so I'm excited for that because I get to go work some of the LA comedy clubs. But anyway, I will be back out on the road. July 14th, you can see me in Portland, Oregon. And then July 15th, I'll be in Seattle. And then August 14th, I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. Well, technically Worcester.
I'll be there too.
Yeah, you'll be there too. Maybe we'll see what happens. I'm still in the early thoughts of we might do a live podcast recording while we're in Boston.
On that show?
Because it'll be the 400th episode.
Okay.
So we'll see. But anyway, for tickets to any of these shows that I mentioned, go to homeschooledpod.com, click on tour. Homeschooled Pod, click on tour. And while you're there, make sure you click on merch and check out some of the dope t-shirts that we have. We still got the ex-presidents and the Document the Journey, both Kevin designed. And you can see the Only Love Can Save the World design, which is named after my tour this year. It's all on there, guys. Check it out. It's pretty dope, and we appreciate the support. Welcome back, Kev. Dude, I like your setup now, man.
I've been messing around with it. I've been playing around with lighting, and I haven't got it tuned down exactly how I like it, but it looks pretty good, man. Thank you.
No, it's dope. You got your little movie theater seats, and your little VHS.
These are so cool, by the way, man.
They are pretty dope. I saw them the other day. They're pretty cool. You look like you got your own like little.
They weren't actually used in a theater. They weren't used in a theater. They were display seats for theaters to buy.
You ain't gotta tell nobody that.
What's that?
You ain't gotta tell nobody that.
It was nice and clean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're pretty dope, dude. You look like you're sitting in like the Bat Cave, but for a '90s nerd.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're like Michael Keaton's
like 80s movie
chair.
Seats. These are like 90s movie seats.
They're pretty cool, dude. It's definitely an AMC chair. But yeah, dude, I wanted to have you on a little bit to talk about the reopen, which Los Angeles County opened on June 15th. So it has been, 6 days?
It has been
6 days ago. And
21st.
Prior to that, the last couple of weeks, like, Comedy Store has been open, and so is the Improv. And like now, I don't really go to Flappers, but they're open anyway. And then Laugh Factory's open. So like almost all, like pretty much all the LA clubs are now open. But I've been on the road every weekend this month, and I haven't been able to go and experience any of comedy being open here. Finally.
Well, it's going to be awkward the first couple of weeks for opening, so let them get that out of the way so they can warm up the stage for you, buddy.
Yeah, because I did like a soft open before June 15th, which was, I don't even know what that means. I think it was way less people and still masked and stuff like that. And now I think they're at full capacity, but I still don't know what the deal is about wearing masks. And because, if you go into a grocery store out here, which I don't know if you've been in yet, dude, but like you could just walk in without wearing one.
Well, yeah, you don't have to wear the masks anymore.
Yeah,
I know that.
I'm still like,
my roommate Anton, he's working at a bar.
Yeah.
They don't have to follow those protocols anymore.
It's like
and
no
you can
place
sit
does.
at the bar now.
That's so, dude. I miss sitting at a bar. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really fully enjoyed it yet because I've been traveling, and then I go, like I was in Utah, and they have been not had a mask mandate, and then Texas too. I was in Texas right after that, and then I come home to LA, and I'm still kind of like, can we? Like, I still wear it in my pocket, and your instinct is to put it on when you go to the store because you don't want some idiot to say something to you. Because in LA, we have the worst people that are just like, you should put a mask on, which, like, I'm sure they're still gonna do. I still get looks, even though we're not required to wear it.
Doesn't matter. Those aren't the guidelines anymore. Say,
I know.
Hey, just following the rules.
But they still look at me like, I can't believe this guy's not wearing it. But it's like, hey, we're not required to anymore. Like, I'm not going to give you shit if you feel like you still want to wear it because it just makes you feel comfortable.
I still have to wear it for work.
In the schools?
In the schools and still in the homes when I work in the homes too.
So when is school gonna like be on summer break?
It's already on summer break.
Oh, so you're still in the schools though for like summer school?
No, I'm not working summer school, but I work for two companies, one in the school, one in the home. So
you're in the home right now.
My workload has gone down. Yeah.
So you're in the home and you got to wear the mask in the home, like the parents want it.
Homes, plural, multiple homes. Yeah.
So you don't work with any parents.
No, yeah, I do. I work with I work directly with the families.
No, that's not what I was gonna say. Let me finish my full sentences.
Well, then fucking talk.
I was gonna say you don't you don't work with any parents that are kind of like less strict than others. Like one might be like, you can take that off, by the way, if you want. You know,
all of my families have, and I'm dying to, but I can't break the company policy.
Oh, if they tell the company,
because technically we are essential workers in healthcare, so I have to really follow those protocols.
Yeah, I mean, if
they're all like, take it off, man, I'm like, I as soon as I get the okay, I will. I'm totally cool with it. I totally down to take it off. I hate these masks, but I have to wear it for it.
But you think when summer break is over and you're back in the schools, it's going to be no mask, right? That's what I think.
They haven't made up their minds on that yet. I was talking to some of the teachers, like they don't know what it's going to be like when they come back, and they never do. But I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to.
Yeah, well, it's just like so many counties like are doing it. Like they did it before summer break. They were already like doing no masks and stuff like that. But anyway,
yeah.
You know what I want to talk about, dude?
What's that?
So while we're talking about the reopening, just because we've done so many episodes in the last year about the lockdown, and so we have to do one on the opening. And this is like the first episode I'm doing since it's been officially open and everything. And you know what I want to get off my chest, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong in feeling this way. I feel pretty bad sometimes about thinking it, but I think I'm right. So I think that I can't help but think about the comedians that were so anti going out during the lockdown. Like, you'd ask them like to do a gig, and they were like, I'm not doing anything until like the government says it's okay. You know, those comics. Like there was, I mean, not just comics. Everyone was like half the people were not like that, and the other half were. Like you have people that were just like more ready to go back out there and do things, and then you had people that were just they didn't want to do anything. Like people were like, I'm not gonna go on stage again until there's a vax, you know, or you know. And I would offer them gigs, I'd be like, hey, do you guys want to go open for me? I need a comic or something. And they'd be like, no, I don't really feel safe to go out there yet. Now, this is my instinct that I have right now is like now that things are open, and I'm starting to see those comics get booked at the clubs just like they used to, and they're taking up all the spots, and I almost feel this like resentment, like, you know, I don't feel you deserve that. Like if you know that stupid saying, like if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
Yeah.
Like I have that attitude towards them. Like, you know, you turned your back on stand-up because you were afraid, and I didn't turn my back on stand-up. I've been doing comedy the whole pandemic, and you know, on the road or in my garage or an underground secret show and open mics and all that stuff, and I just did whatever I could. And when I got the opportunity to give someone else that opportunity, I got turned down a lot. And then as soon as the government goes like, oh, we say it's cool now all of a sudden they are all like, oh, okay. It's so dumb, dude. But it's like, you don't deserve those spots. Like, you are not the diehard comic. That's where I'm at with it.
I get what you're saying. I personally wouldn't hold it against people. I mean, like it's a pandemic. None of us have ever been through that, and I personally would have continued to do so. But I mean, if somebody's fearing for their safety, I mean, I would give them a pass. It's just like the mask stuff, dude. Like if you want to wear one, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Just don't yell at me to wear one.
Yeah.
But I do understand what you're talking about. But not everybody, thinks and feels the same way. Some people wanted to stay home, and this thing maybe on the inside they just weren't ready for comedy. Maybe that scared them so much they didn't feel like performing, or wanting to get shamed via the internet if they did end up getting caught going out when everybody was supposed to be. But I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you get it. I mean, you come from a good point too. Like, and half of me does too. Like, I think to myself, I feel bad for thinking that, but I can't help but think it. And I mean, they're just comics too that are trying to do whatever they can, and I can't get mad at people for whatever lie they believed. I'm sure that there's some lies I believe that I'm wrong about, but it's just it just kind of bothers me. I associate it with like comics that would not take gigs because they had to go to a wedding or something like that. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, I can't do it.
I'm getting married, dude. It's my wedding. I still have to perform.
It's not just that, but it's like, I've talked about this before. Like I've had a comic tell me that like their goal was to do more road. They're kind of a new comic, to do more road gigs. They've never done one before. And then when I called them and said, do you want to do it? They're like, I have a wedding that week. And it's like, you're literally told me your goal. We're talking about a goal for this year. And more than not even halfway through the year, you were about to hit that goal because I was giving you that opportunity. And you're going to throw it down for a wedding? I just think of like the weddings I've missed, the holidays I've missed. I mean, funerals I've missed. And you know what I mean? And that's what this is. There's the diehard comics that are constantly sacrificing because we're in this no matter what for the long haul, and stand-up has always come first. I mean, I've missed events with my wife and stuff like that, parties and stuff like that. I'm like, sorry, I'm on the road that week. I've missed like 4th of July because I was on the road, or Thanksgiving. And I mean, currently right now, my mom's dad is on his deathbed. Like, he's on a hospice. And last week, everybody went to go see him when he was still like, able to talk and function and stuff. Like, my sisters all went to go see him and kind of talk to him at least one more time, and I was on the road. And when I came back, he's kind of already like beyond the point of talking, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I can't even go, like, you kind of talk. I mean, the point is that like I've always chosen stand up first. I've always accepted that sacrifices come with it. And I was talking to Joey Diaz today, and I mean I wonder if I'm not really allowed to. I mean, he didn't tell me not to tell anybody, but I kind of
think twice before you speak.
No, it's all right. I mean, how many people listen to this show? But I mean, he didn't tell me not to say anything. But I asked him, does he see himself coming back to stand-up? Because, he moved away, but he was still doing spots here and there where he lives. And he had a knee surgery, so he just hasn't done stand-up for a while. And he limited himself on going out, too. And when I asked him, like, so where are you now that you're all healed and everything? Like, do you see yourself doing stand-up ever again? And he was like, not really. Not really. And he just said that it just doesn't give him a good feeling anymore the way that it used to be on stage. And he wanted to go out the other night to watch his friends do stand-up to maybe try to be put in the mood. And then I guess the show ended up getting canceled because it's outdoor and it rained. And so what he was saying was, but his friends were all like, that's cool. There's another spot that we can go to. We don't care if it's raining. We're going to go on stage. And he's just like, I didn't have that desire anymore. And he was like, I don't. Which is respectable. Like, he recognizes that there's guys that are the diehard guys that still, after all this time, they're like, I mean, we're talking about guys that are doing it like 20 plus years. They're still like, yeah, I want to get on stage. I don't care if it's raining. I'll stand on stage in the rain. And he's like, I don't have that desire. If you told me that, his instinct is to go, I'd rather go home, And it's respectable because he's kind of just going like, I recognize I'm not in that place anymore. So maybe he'll get there again one day. You never know. Like it's happened to a lot of comics. I've seen a lot of comics go, I need a break from it. Maybe he just needs a little break to get excited about it again.
I respect that about artists when they know when to step away and not to dive in when they're not feeling it. Because look at the people that dive in when they're not feeling it. How is their performance? You know?
Exactly.
Good for him for knowing when not to go on. If his heart's not in the right place at the moment, he shouldn't. But
and he respects the other comics.
When it is, and you know him, you know he's going to get to that spot eventually, right?
I have a feeling, I think once a comic, always a comic, especially because he used to be the diehard, he would sleep in a van or on a couch on the outside and anything to do with spots. So I don't think that that's ever really going to go away. I just think that maybe a little break, he's older than us, dude. It's a hard comparison, and he's got a family, and he's got to watch out for and stuff like that. And you know what, dude? He's got a pretty good, financially in a good situation where you and I are not. But I respected the fact that he recognized that their heart is in a different place than where his currently is. And he steps back. And that's kind of like something that I respect, because why take the stage time away from comics that, like, they'll die for it? And so that's why I associate it with people that make sacrifices and don't. Or, the road dogs are just, no matter what, I'm doing it. And then the guys that were like, I'm not doing it, I'm afraid of COVID, I'll wait till I'm vaxxed. And then all of a sudden they're on the top of the best, comedy lineups. And I just feel a little hurt by it. I wish that the clubs would maybe reward people that hung in there. I didn't see those guys, even when the Comedy Store wasn't open. I didn't see them down there buying drinks on the patio just to try to help them stay afloat, and paying full price for drinks. And you know what I mean? So it's like, but then as soon as everything opens, they book the guys that I'm like, where were they? They were hiding, man. They were hiding in their bunker, bro. But,
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I think definitely rewarding the people who came out, but I don't think that people who decided to stay back shouldn't be punished.
Yeah,
but
you're right. You're
saying.
Right.
Yeah, what you're saying about rewarding the people that hung in there and supported them during tough times and worked on their craft during this time. But I mean, even me when the COVID first hit, I couldn't do anything creative for like almost a month. It took me a long time to feel comfortable because I didn't know if my job was getting canceled. I didn't know anything. And so even though there were times where I felt safe, I'm like, okay, my job's secure and, I'm getting a better handle. This is starting to sink in a little bit, but I still didn't feel in like a creative mode. And who knows, maybe a lot of people avoided it because they weren't feeling the creative. They didn't know how to be creative or just weren't feeling it. But I think rewarding the people that, were putting their heart and soul into their craft during the pandemic definitely should be rewarded, but I wouldn't necessarily punish the people who wanted to.
Yeah, not a punishment. And you're right. I shouldn't hold any resentment towards anybody, and I probably won't. Like, it's not like I'm going to see those people and be like, I remember you turned me down. It's not. I'm not going to do that. But
this is what you said. I respect the way that you were wording it. At least I think that how you were wording it this way was just like, I feel, instead of they shouldn't. You're like, I feel like these people haven't given their best, and you
it's just the
like
way I feel. It
Yeah,
doesn't mean I'm right.
There's nothing wrong with getting that out. You get it out, dude.
I'm not usually right.
I can see when times are tough,
Yeah.
and people aren't working as hard as you, and you're still sticking through. You can look back and feel those feelings, but at the same time, you gotta put yourself in other people's shoes, but still don't give up how you feel about how you want to attack it.
Yeah, and it's just the way I feel right now. I'm gonna get over it. I assume.
So
I assume.
over it. You're so
Yeah.
over it, dude.
But then you never know. I might be in a bad mood one day and sick of like not getting booked in my hometown, and I might flip and just say something to somebody, which is usually how it happens.
Look at how it benefits you. I mean, that's just more stage time for you, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's
Well, it
it's
was.
more opportunity. Well, it was,
But now-
still, people
Yeah.
probably like, hey, Augustino's a little butthurt that we're booking other
Yeah.
people. Maybe we shouldn't book him, but no.
But it wasn't necessarily more stage time as much as it was having to work harder to find any.
Yeah.
But I guess because there weren't so many comics that were willing to go out and do it, then I got that opportunity.
Yeah, but luckily for you, you're a workhorse though. You're always working on this, and I gotta hand it to you, man. After all these years of knowing you and even starting doing stand up with you, and just the way that you work, you're constantly out even if you're not out at the club, you're either writing or emailing people trying to get yourself spots. So you work hard, and you know what? If the things aren't biting at the moment or having trouble getting a spot, I mean, like, it's gonna come around eventually because you're really funny.
Thanks,
you know how
man.
to control a crowd.
Thanks,
you know
dude.
how to make everybody laugh. So just keep plugging it, dude. Keep working it hard.
I am, dude, and thank you. Yeah, and you're right, man. Like, it may not seem like it right now, and I might even go through another period again where it's like, oh, I'm not on those lineups that I want to be on in my own hometown. I have to like leave town to get booked, which is great. You know, book gigs on the road, you make more money and stuff. But it's like, the hard work that I put in, and even I'm still not gonna stop. Like, of me not quitting, that eventually pays off. You know, it's still putting me in a step ahead than where I would have been if I just, you know, took the time off, you know. But yeah, dude. And one thing that I mean, I've always respected about you too is you know, similar thing where you you know, you started stand up. We kind of started around the same time, and you know, you just eventually didn't do it anymore. But it wasn't because you quit. It was because you knew that the hard work that all the comics put into it, and you weren't as passionate about it. You were more passionate about filmmaking and stuff like that, and you just knew that, you know, there's way too many guys that work hard at it and they write and that's their dream and stuff like that, but it's like it wasn't your number one dream, so you like stepped away and just do it sometimes.
Yeah, it was, dude.
Not to put words in your mouth.
So much fun. No, put more words in my mouth. No, it was, dude. I had so much fun doing it. It was a blast, and I felt like I was pretty good at it. I always had a blast doing it. And you're right. Like, I had a lot of respect for, you know, the comic life and the people that get up every night. And because I was, you know, pursuing filmmaking and wanted to do other things, that wasn't a necessity. And I'm like, you know what? If I can't do it the way that these guys are doing it, and girls, the way that everybody's going out every single night, like, I didn't want to insult the craft by, you know, like, calling myself a comic, being able to go out every night. But, you know, it'd still be fun to get on stage sometime, just to feel that feeling again. But
well, you know what's funny, dude? You were always really good at it. Like, you are honestly really, really good at it. And you know, I think that, I mean, we technically started at the same time, but didn't you do it like in college before you moved to LA?
I did it in Boston before I moved out to LA. I moved out to Los Angeles in the end of 2007, and I started in the winter of 2007.
But if you like did it in Boston,
a year before I moved out.
If you got on stage in Boston in 2007, that's like 2 years before I ever got on stage.
Yeah, but when I moved out to LA, I didn't do stand up until I met you like a year later. So I like actually took a year off. Like, I was at that thing. I'm in a new city. I'm trying to survive. I didn't feel very funny. I knew I wanted to get into it, but I wanted to feel the vibe of the city first. And, you know, yeah, that's what I did. And then I met you. It was so funny. The first time I was doing stand up, the first time I tried it in California is where I met you at the Haha. You rolling in with your Carlton T-shirt.
Yeah.
and dude, I gotta say something. You have opened up so much too since then.
Yeah.
You used to be like very quiet, like, hey, what's up, man? Hey, until we started hanging out. Then you're like, hey, man. I'm like, all right, there he is.
That's true. I have opened up a lot more over the years. I mean, I hope so after doing this 12 years. But dude, when you met me, I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember. Like, the only thing I've ever experienced is Homeschooled, and then when I was like 16, 17, I was finally going out by myself and making my own friends my own age from the neighborhood, and then I would start to go to like hang out.
How old were the kids you were hanging out with before?
So, dude,
hanging around with toddlers? What's up?
No, they were my sisters, and they were all older than me, and that was about it. No, I mean, I had friends that were my parents' friends' kids. You know what I mean? And that was it. Which, like, I still keep in touch with a couple of them, and they're still cool as hell. I'm not trying to say anything bad, but like it wasn't like, you know, usually
you met somebody naturally, you know, like in school or going out somewhere where you would usually
yes
meeting somebody naturally that way instead of it's like an arranged marriage.
You know,
with, like,
well, listen, everybody always says that, like, parents never choose their friends based off of like I chose this person to be my friend. You choose this person's your friend because your kids were friends. Like that's what parents usually say. Like, well, I have 2 kids and they have 2 kids, so I guess I'm good friends with the parents, right? And
they don't refer to
do
them
stuff
as their friend,
together.
like that's Jaden's mom. I know.
Yeah, but it was like the opposite for us because I was homeschooled. So whoever my parents' friends were, their kids were our friends. But when I was like 16, 17, I started to make my own friends from being out. Like one kid was 11 because he lived around the corner from me, and I was out riding my bike and I saw him playing basketball in his driveway, and I was like, hey, you want to be my friend? And then there was another kid, and I still talk to him, by the way, and then there was another kid who was my age who lived next door to that house, and he went to Grant High School, which is like over on Coldwater. And so I became like friends with his friends, and he would still bring me to the high school parties. So I was still able to do it. Like that was my first experience. So going from that to 20 years old, and I finally go, I'm going to be a stand-up comic. And yeah, I was this shy little kid, and I'm 20. And it wasn't my first time on stage, but it was my, I think, second open mic. And where I met you, second or third open mic, and we're outside the haha just waiting for him to open so we could sign up for open mic, and you came up and I met you there, and then I think that you and Dave were both like, let's go do this open mic. Today's the day we're gonna do it.
Yeah, and that's right where I met you.
Was there a third person or was it just Dave and you?
No, do you remember that guy Warren?
Did you come with him or we just met him there, right?
No, we met him there that day.
Yeah, I didn't remember if he was your friend already.
We're the only ones who remain friends. Well, I'm still friends with Dave. I don't talk to him as much. He's back in Boston now.
I don't talk to that guy Warren anymore. At one point, we did keep in touch, but like he was like good friends with one of my best friends in Boston, which was weird.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Dude, he was like one of Josh's good friends. He ended up like
funny.
because he was from a
He's
town
a cool guy.
that's small there. Yeah, he was a cool guy. I just wonder what happened. Last I heard, he moved back to Boston and opened a bar. That's the last.
Well, yeah,
that
I
was
think
like
that
6 years ago.
shortly after we met him.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But yeah, man, it is kind of crazy. And I remember you being the funniest one of us three. Like, we all kind of started at that open mic, and it was me, you, and Dave that all kind of clicked. And even though there's a bunch of people that open mic, I just, whatever reason, clung to you guys. Probably because you were from Boston, and like most of my close friends are, and I had lived there for 2 years, so but yeah, I felt like you were the funniest between the three of us. And when they started to actually book us on shows, like remember we all got booked on Eric Allegria's show after that mic?
Oh, yeah.
He came up and was like, hey, you guys want to do my Tuesday funnies?
Like, hey, we got booked on a show.
We got booked on a real show. And then he's like, here's 10 tickets, go and sell them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was a big thing too, because like when we were like bringers for such a long time, I mean, I didn't know a lot of people out in Los Angeles, so like maybe one show I could get like 10 people to come out, and then like, oh, we're gonna book you Thursday night too. I'm like, oh, those 10 people just came. I don't know if I can get another 10, but luckily for me, they're just like, Kev, you're funny, man. We're still gonna put you on. Just do your best to promote it. I'm like, okay. And so, but I would still always get that anxiety. I'm like, oh, I brought like one person maybe. That was a big thing that was a turnoff for me.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's a turnoff for every comic.
You have to promote. You have to promote.
That's the process.
There,
but it's just that it's a turnoff because it's that bait and switch when they come after those new guys, the fresh blood, and they go, you guys want to do my Tuesday show? And you go like, whoa, we got our first show. You're like high-fiving, and then you realize later what a bringer show is, and you're like, oh, that they didn't book us because they thought we were funny. But even still, it was a great experience, and I do remember that show. I do remember, I think I did pretty well as far as bringing people, because I'm from LA. And then I remember you actually did get a couple of friends out, and then I think I remember like Dave didn't get any, or maybe he only brought like 2, and they made him go like last when there was only like 2 people left in the crowd, and then Eric Legger was like all pissy to him because he didn't bring people.
It's like, dude, I just moved out here, man. I don't know anybody.
But when you and I started getting booked on all these shows, you were always like, people would make you go after me. I do remember that. Remember when we did Ignacio's show, like at Outdoor Restaurant?
Oh yeah, like up near like Santa Clarita, right?
Yeah, like by Magic Valley. And
Yeah.
I remember it was like me, you, I think Ignacio hosted, that guy Kwame. Remember that guy
Uh-huh.
Kwame? And I don't, and a couple other chicks, stuff like that. But I do remember that he had you close that show. You were the headliner, bro.
That was I had no idea what that meant at the moment. I just thought I was going on host. I was just like, okay, hey, all right. It was fun.
It
It was
was
a lot of
fun.
fun. Ignacio was cool, man. He took us in right away and just
Yeah.
started like doing shows with us all the time. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's right. And then I think we did that. I think you did that one with me, like on Sunset and Gower, where it was like this like black box theater underneath,
Yes, I remember that.
like
I
you had to
remember.
like crawl through the tunnel.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like a little basement door.
So it was like a
and, you
midnight
had to
show,
jump your
wasn't
head to
it?
get in. Was that who?
I think it was a midnight show. I remember being very late.
Yeah, I think it was. Who was that? Was that
That guy
also Eric
Gold.
Allegria?
No, it was that guy. What was his name? Something
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah,
I haven't
that
seen.
sounds familiar.
He was like a big Jewish guy, fat
Does.
Jewish
And
guy.
you know what's funny? Out of all
Joey
the
Gold.
shows, Joey Gold. Yep,
I wonder what happened to him.
I remember him. He was nice. He
was nice,
book
too.
us. Yeah, he would always book us. But it was so funny because of all the the years we had done stand up together. I can only think of one time where we both did the Comedy Store at the same night. And that was a show that you had actually just put me on just a few years ago when my brother came out to visit. You were running his show up in the
Oh.
belly room, I think. And like we're doing the show, I'm like, oh man, I think this is the first time you and I were booked on a show together at the Comedy Store. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it would have to be one where I booked it.
Yeah.
For us both to be able to get on.
Yeah, for us both to be able to get on. But man, all those rooms are fun. It
Yeah.
was always fun performing there, dude.
I love that club. All those
Oh,
rooms
yeah.
are fun.
Especially the main room and the original room. Those were something else. Especially on like Pack Friday nights.
The main room when it was packed. I did it a couple times, dude, when it was like sold out, or
Yeah,
or at least they had to open
yeah.
the top. It was pretty cool, man. But yeah, that just happens. I've watched that. That's an interesting thing about comedy, is watching yourself get better than the people that you look up to. Not saying that I got better than you, but you just stopped doing it.
Well,
But
you did.
if somebody starts to just, not do it as much, or also you just surpass people. It's so crazy. Like when I think about when I started and the comics I watched, that I looked up to them so much and I thought that they were destroyers, dude. And it's so funny to think now, like, not to shit on anybody, so I won't say anybody's names, but I've actually like several times, I couldn't even count how many times I've been booked to headline and they booked one of those guys to feature. Like, it's interesting to watch yourself grow, but it just happens. It's like a part of life. Even if you are constantly working and progressing and working at your craft, like, you will watch yourself move forward when the other people are standing still. And not to say that they got less funny, but I am saying that a lot of them stood still. Like, they plateaued and they didn't try to write more stuff. They didn't try to, how am I going to beat my last thing? How am I going to learn something new? And I think that, I'm fortunate, dude. My new thing when people ask me, I just thought this the other day, people always ask me, who's your favorite comic? Like, when people find out I'm a comedian, like, I was just up in Paso Robles, and when I go on the road, dude, I'm very vocal about where I'm performing to try to always promote the show if there's still tickets available, right? Like, wherever I go do an activity. Like I did a hike the other day, and there was like a group of people, like friends up there, and they were like talking to us. And I go, hey, if you guys aren't doing anything tonight, I'll put you on my guest list. Like, I'm a comedian coming down to the show. And one of the dudes goes, he was like, tell me a joke, which is, but if anyone's listening, the dumbest thing to ever say to a comic. Don't ever say that. But he goes, tell me a joke. And I go, bro, it's free. Like, I'm giving you free tickets. I'm not going to sell it to you. Just come or don't. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. So, but I do get a lot. I was up in Paso Robles, and this guy was like, I'm a big fan of comedy. That's really cool. Let me ask you who your favorites are. And I always try to think of, who do they want to hear, is what I try to think. Like, what do they want to hear me say? And I always go like, oh, they probably want to hear.
Why do you do it that way?
Because I know because I try to think, who will they know? Because I know the guys that I really like that they'll know. But then I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to start saying really funny fucking guys that they should know. That's what I'm going to start doing. So I was like, Well, first of all, Burr's not leaving because I go. If you're asking me who's my favorite working right now, Burr is still. I'm highly influenced by him. Okay, he's one of my favorites. But besides that, I'm gonna start telling people, if you don't already know who Joey Diaz is, you got to look him up. Just because he was a huge influence on me, and you might even call him my mentor in stand-up, just because I opened for him for so many years. And then I'm gonna start telling people you should know about Jimmy Schubert. If you don't know about Jimmy Schubert, like,
Jimmy's great.
I mean, it's so sad that like people want to hear Rogan. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not sad. Great for Rogan. He's awesome. Rogan's awesome. I didn't mean it like that. But I just meant like, people don't know about Schubert, and he's one of the best comics I've ever got to watch live.
It's like the hidden gem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's just a hidden gem. He's a beast, dude. He is such a beast. So
I will say, whenever I'm like scrolling through Instagram and stuff, and I see one of his clips pop up, I always listen to it. Dude,
he's so funny. And to
I
watch
just
him
love
live
just-
is.
yeah.
I've
Even when
only
you're hanging out with him, even when you're just hanging out with him, you don't even have to talk. You just sit there and you just listen to him, and he just goes and goes. He's so great.
Yeah, off stage. That's the thing. It's like him and Joey off stage. They're not even trying. It's just they're so the gift of gab, I guess you can say. But I don't even like to say that because it's like they're not gabbing. You know what I mean? They're just fun to talk to.
Because when they're on stage, they're polished,
mm-hmm.
and then you get to see the actual thought process, of like on the spot, and how they just think naturally.
But I'm gonna stop just thinking of who they'll know, because they probably are asking me because they want someone new to check out, maybe. So I'm just gonna start telling people because it's the truth. I've been in comic for 12 years. And only the last 3 or 4 I've opened for Schubert. I didn't know him that long. I'd say like 3 or 4 years, 3.5 years I've known him, and I got to open for him for maybe 3 years. Prior to that, it was Joey Diaz for maybe almost 8 years opening for him. So it's it's impossible to not be really influenced by Joey Diaz. Like, I do a lot of storytelling, and I've definitely learned a lot of techniques of taking your time, and I learned a lot of breathing from him. Not even that he told me. I could just monitoring him, I've picked up where he breathes and how he's fearless when he just, stands there still and let people absorb what he just said. And when you're doing a story, sometimes it's silent, but they're hooked in. You know what I mean? And just, I've definitely got a lot of him in me. So yeah, I mean, and people always tell me I sound like Bill Burr, which I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a Boston accent.
I don't, but I think my cadence can kind of sound like him. What's funny, dude? I've noticed that when I'm doing a new bit, when I'm working on new material, I'll do it in Bill Burr's cadence. And it's a flaw that I need to get over. And then when I've worked out the bit so well, I'm doing it in my voice. Because every comedian needs to find their voice. Through the first several years, it's a combination. Your voice is a combination of your favorite comics. It just is. It's that way for everybody. And then, but when I'm doing new bits, I still do Burr. And it's just like me trying to, do something new. But once it's mine, I do it in my voice. But I still get people go like, you kind of sound like Burr. I think my cadence and then like my views on things maybe a little bit. But I can't deny that and he's one of my favorites. But yeah. From now on, I'm going like Burr, Joey Diaz had a huge influence on me, one of my mentors, and Jimmy Schubert. And if you guys don't know who that is, you fucking need to. And that's my go-to thing to say. I don't know why I started saying that.
You should have always been doing that, man.
I know, I should have been, because I think people are looking for recommendations if they like stand-up. They're going like, yeah, I know about Rogan. Who else you got?
Yeah.
I know about Burr. I know about Louis C.K. And Chappelle. By the way, I'm going to harp on this for a second, dude. Okay?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm going to go off on a little rant.
Oh, here we go.
And this is going to be a really unpopular opinion. Nobody has overstayed their welcome like Dave Chappelle.
What?
Nobody has overstayed their welcome, dude. I got to tell you, dude, I can't think of a more overhyped comedian. Honestly, dude. Like, his last special was meh.
I liked it. Wait, what was that last one that he did?
I forget what it was called. It's the one that he got a lot of shit for because it was like technically politically incorrect because he did that thing about
I liked that one.
LGBTQ.
I liked it.
I mean, he. Oh shit! There, there goes that light. Watch out, buddy. That was a close one. Good catch. But yeah, he did that whole bit. He got in trouble for the LGBTQ bit. But by the way, that wasn't even. And I'm not going to say he stole it. I am going to say I've heard that bit 20 times that year from other comics. It was a common premise and a common point of view on it. And I didn't like it that much, dude. I mean, I think he won the Grammy for it or something like that. And I thought that Bill Burr's Paper Tiger was far superior. The best album of the year. Far superior. But not only that, dude. I don't like how everybody sucks his dick. I don't like how everybody goes, Chappelle's the greatest comic of all time. He's a really good comic. And he was super, super hilarious in the Chappelle Show days, like in the 90s and Comedy Central era. But like since his comeback, he's very George Carlin. Like he's our George Carlin. George Carlin used to be phenomenal, funny, joke, and then became very preachy and political later on. And that's fine if that's what you want to do with your career. That's why you get fame, is to get freedom, and he's doing what he wants to do.
I was just about to say, if anybody can overstay their welcome, it's him.
Yeah, I suppose. But, then he'll go to the store and he'll bump everybody and do 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, and he brings John Mayer on stage with the guitar, and he plays guitar while he just talks to the audience. Not even jokes, just talking. And they keep people there till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And to me, I think that's the death of stand-up comedy. It's not stand-up comedy, dude. I just think that's terrible. And you may have seen this in the news today, and this is probably why I'm saying it fresh in my mind. You might have seen it in the news today. Foo Fighters, who I'm a big fan of the Foo Fighters music, okay? I'm not a giant fan that they announced that they're vax only, okay? The Flu Fighters, as I call them. So, so stupid. So anyway, they brought Dave Chappelle out in the middle of their concert. I think it was Madison Square Garden. And Dave Chappelle goes out there. What business does Dave Chappelle have doing in the middle of a rock concert? Like, I can see if you brought out, who I don't know, somebody who can sing and rap would make a lot of sense. I could see if you bring someone out who's like a musician that's gonna do a duet with you, but you bring a stand-up comic out, and then he actually sang. And you could go watch the video. He sings "Creep" by Radiohead, which you might be like, oh shit, he must be a good singer then. Maybe that's why they brought him out. No. It's Dave Chappelle in his cigarette-ass voice going, I'm a creep, for no reason. And I'm sitting there going like, why is this motherfucker showing up at the Foo Fighters concert? Like,
because
dude, you overstayed your welcome. Get out of here. Like, if I was at a Foo Fighters concert, I would be pissed if Dave Chappelle came out and sang a song. If Dave Chappelle came out and did 5 minutes of stand-up, I might be like, well, that was kind of interesting. But if he came out and sings, I'd be like, I want my money back.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What if Dave Grohl asked you to get on stage and sing?
If who?
Dave Grohl.
Okay.
From the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. He asked me to get on stage and
you were
sing.
Friends with them. He's like, hey, man, you want to get up and sing "Creep"?
I might say no, dude.
No, you wouldn't. You would definitely do it.
Dude, I can't sing.
If it was a song that, it doesn't matter, but if it was a song that you love, you do it because, like, whatever, it'd be fun.
Listen, you step back from stand-up out of respect for people that were doing stand-up and that was their dream. I'm not going to go on stage and diss musicians. And I can't sing, and I know I can't sing. And people paid a lot of money to go to the Foo Fighters concert. And you're going to go out there and you're going to fucking make a mockery of it? That's what it was. It was a mockery. And people just go, I'm just not a fan of it because people go like, oh my God, Dave Chappelle. Like the crowd goes apeshit when they surprised everybody and brought him out. But like, why are you going apeshit? Because you're seeing a famous person? It doesn't have anything to do with the concert. Why are you going apeshit?
You know what? What were they doing? They went apeshit, so they liked it. So give the people what they liked.
No, they go apeshit when they brought him out because of the surprise. Who knows when they left if they went like, that was stupid. Why did Dave Chappelle come out and sing a song? Maybe be like, hey, here's a surprise. Dave Chappelle's backstage randomly because he's my friend. And he comes out and just says hi to everybody and wishes them a good evening. Or maybe says a little something nice, you know.
And just keeps everybody there till 4 a.m. doing stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's like, dude, Like,
But
just
he bumps
step the
Foo
fuck
Fighters
off.
at their own concert.
And it just builds this clientele. It's building this audience. We have a real problem right now with audiences. And no disrespect to audiences, because you're listening to this podcast, which means you are an audience. But if you're listening to this podcast, that means that you support unknowns. And we have a real problem with audiences that only support famous people. And, they're like we were just talking about Jimmy Schubert. You guys, if I tell you right now that guy's a fucking monster comedian and people need to know about him, 95% of the people that are listening to this podcast right now are not going to go run and follow him on Instagram. They just don't. And then if I just told you right now, guys, I've been doing comedy 12 years. I know what the fuck. I opened for Joey Diaz. Like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm telling you, Jimmy Schubert's at this place tonight. Go and watch him. No one's going to buy a ticket. But if I tell you fucking Dave Chappelle's going to pop in on the Foo Fighters concert, you're going to go spend $400. We have a real problem with audiences. Like, they just buy whoever society tells them is funny instead of having your own opinion.
I also think it has to do with people thinking it's a guarantee that they're going to have a good time, go out and spend money, rather than a hit or miss on somebody they've never seen before.
There's that too.
Yeah.
But
I mean, hey, everybody, go out and see Jimmy Schubert. He's funny.
Yeah, or just, support. He lives in Florida now, so if you're in Florida, go see where he's going to be at, or just follow him so when he's coming to a town near you. But just support, your unknown artists. I was just talking about this with Nick Guerra, who featured for me this last weekend. Who, by the way, Nick Guerra's a headliner. You know what I mean? Nick Guerra has headlined for several years now. He was actually, I guess he didn't read my original text when I asked him if he wanted to do the gig with me. And when he showed up, he was like, "Oh, you're going after me?" Like, he was actually like a little surprised. I'm like, "Yeah, dude, read your text." And it's not that I don't want to book him as a headliner for these gigs that I'm doing. It's like, if they paid me more money, I'd be able to give him what a headliner deserves, But they're not. So I can only afford to give, so I'd have to headline it myself, which I'm happy to. I'm growing as a headliner myself, and I'm happy to give the feature money if they're down to take that money, because it's tough, dude, Like, I went through that transition, like, where I'll go, like, I don't want to MC anymore. Like, I only want to feature. So you'll turn down a bunch of MC work until finally people go, okay, he's only doing feature. And you have to go through that weird stage. And, like, right now I'm going through the same thing again, where I don't want to feature for anybody because I'm headlining, because you don't want to go backwards, right? But then it's hard to get headlining gigs. So I'm in this weird, like, middle ground. And but there is certain people I will still feature for, because they're my friends and they're just fucking funny, right? So I don't care to feature for them. It's fine. And so what Nick and I were talking about is, he was saying, like, right now I'm entering into the phase that he's in, which is the unknown headliner, which is very, very difficult, because there's a big difference between the known headliner and the unknown headliner. Because, you're funny enough to headline, and comedy clubs should book you. But if no one knows who you are, it's really hard to sell tickets. And that's kind of where you are. You're constantly struggling and fighting for your life. And in some cities, you might do better than others. You never know. Like, Austin, I had 2 shows, and each one was only half full. And then Paso Robles, I sold out 2 shows, And then Utah was only half full. So it's like, it just depends. And I'm building right now, dude. It's like, and this too, man. It's like, we're starting a business. Like, you with everything that you do, and filming shorts or editing, and, even like the t-shirts that you make. It's like, everything's like starting a business. And I expect that I could possibly make no profit the first couple of years. If I can break even, that's great. But I'm laying a base right now, and I'm building an audience. I'm going around the country, and hopefully people are keeping in touch. I pass out my cards. I'm doing a new thing where I print a QR code, and I put it on the tables at the show, and it's got my they call it a link tree. You've seen those, where it's got your fucking Twitter and your Instagram, and then where people can buy your album. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just laying a base. I'm going to do it next year too. I'm just going to keep doing it until I'm building my audience, and that's what I'm doing, man. And then hopefully, and then there are some comedy clubs that are willing to work with the unknowns, because they go, like, listen, I got an off week. I don't expect you to sell out like Tripoli will, but I'll give you a chance on my off night, and that's what they're doing. And they see that I'm funny, and then the club grows with the comic, and the city, and as the city grows, the comic grows with it. So yeah, I'm done. But that's just where I am in my career, and that's where we are in the reopening of Los Angeles, which I'm excited about. I'm determined to hurry up and finish this documentary because it's time sensitive, I think, the subject. So that'll be interesting.
Well, get on it, dude.
Yeah, man. I am. I'm already lining stuff up this week, and I mean, half of it's already filmed. I'm just gonna do a couple interviews. Then we gotta do a couple of like shots of all the documents that I have, like just stills. And then after that, it's like all that. What did you call it? The B-reel.
B-roll.
B-roll. Yeah.
But be real.
Be real, bro. Yeah, dude. All that B-roll stuff, and then besides that, like I got a lot of stuff for a good documentary, and I want to document a little bit.
I can't wait to help you out with it, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know you're gonna come to me about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the struggle that I went with LA County and trying to let us do outdoor. I'll even show the plan that I wrote, which you never even read. I wrote like a whole fucking plan, dude, like to safely do, which complied with all their regulations and stuff. And now it's after June 15th, so everything's okay again. So LA's open.
You should still send them a letter, just like Andy Dufresne every day. They say yes.
Every day they're like, "You can go do it already."
Yeah, I just want to get the okay from you.
I do. I Andy Dufresne people all the time. I just Andy Dufresne Expedia the other day.
You Andy Dufresne me every day.
I do. I do.
I'm like, oh, he's not. I'll get back to him after work.
And then you get another text. And then you get another.
My phone will be like blowing up all day. I'm like, ooh, I'm popular. I look, it's just like Augustino. Okay, what about this app? Augustino's messaging you through this.
Yeah.
Augustino's messaging you.
Well,
through
I know
this.
you're working, but I just figure you'll see it all when you're done, and you'll respond to it when you can. So as I think of it, I just send it. But yeah, I Andy Dufresne Expedia because they wouldn't give me my credit for like a canceled flight, and they wouldn't answer the phone call. It was like 4-hour wait times.
You should.
I did. I send them a letter like every single day for 2 weeks, and then finally someone called me like, "What can we do?" I do that shit all the time. I did it to Sprint.
You start writing random letters to different companies just to see what.
Like I didn't even do anything with that.
Yeah, nothing. You didn't even order anything. Hey, listen, I want some free coffee.
Yeah. But you know what? You're right, Kevin. I'm glad I got that off my chest. I'm not going to hold any grudges towards anybody. I'm not going to sit there and hold, I don't know if you want to call it envy or whatever it is, but
letting it off your chest is,
yeah.
I think it's good. Let it off your shoulders. Get those feelings out, man.
Got it off my chest, and now that LA's open, at the end of the day, the whole point and the purpose of the documentary, but anyway, my whole purpose and point has always been that I know the struggle for artists and performing artists or anybody that's like an entrepreneur and trying to reach their dreams. I know the struggle, and I know the depression and the mental illness that we've dealt with during quarantine. So at the end of the day, the city being open, whether I agree with the way they handled things when it was closed or not, everything opening again is great all around. And if it can, save a life and help people be back in a better mental state, then I'm happy.
Well, I'm happy you're happy.
Thanks, man. So brush up your 10-minute set, bro, because I need an MC this summer to start taking on the road with me.
I was actually thinking about it. I was thinking about it. I definitely want to be in the right mindset for it and start writing a set because it would be fun to jump up on stage, but definitely for one of your shows.
Well, dude, I need guys. You're going to be only working in the houses in the summer. So if you want to make a couple extra bucks, dude, it's like I'm paying comics and I'm paying for their flight and we just share a hotel room, and it's like, that's there for you, dude. I mean, 5-10 minutes, just fucking, that's it, and bring your little, you don't even have to bring your big camera, bring your fucking iPhone equipment to film good stuff. And it's like, we'll film fucking our sets every night. We'll do great footage. We'll film something. We'll do more documentaries. We'll film a special.
All right, I'm down.
All right, dude.
I gotta start writing jokes.
Get on that shit. You got to get on it by August 14th because we'll both be in Boston and you can do a set.
I'm out of here on July 28th. I'll be in Boston July 28th to August 15th.
Well, you better start writing, bro.
I will.
Do you want to do the show on August 14th in Boston?
Maybe.
You can MC.
Maybe. I mean, I'm gonna be with my family because
but it's only one day.
had to miss them for like a whole year. Yeah,
No, I
one
know.
day, but I also got to prepare for that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
All right, man. Well, you let me know if you agree. It's you, me, and Lee Sayat.
Oh, okay, that'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe a couple local Boston guys, but yeah, that should be it. That should be fun, man.
All right, well, hey man, I'll make that a goal in Boston. That'd be cool because I can get my family to come out and see too.
All right, bro. Everybody, give Kevin a follow because it's great to have him back, and you can make sure you follow Twin Pines, right?
Twin Pines Video. That's my public account. That's for all my movie stuff. I love
His
doing a
personal.
lot of VHS
It's
art.
gone. It's private now. It's American Lyonheart. It's private. Yeah, Twin Pines Video is where he does it's like the 80s and 90s nostalgia stuff. So if you're into that shit, definitely that's a good one to follow. And he does VHS art, which is very unique. You don't get that at any of those other ones. And check it out. And then also he designs T-shirts, and that's still American Lionheart. What is it? Design American Lionheart shirts
on Threadless. Yeah, designs. I guess that's my designer name, my artist name, American Lionheart.
So there you go, dope ass designs, a lot of stuff from movies. So check out the cool T-shirts, and I'm sure you can find the link from the T-shirts on the Instagram.
Yeah, it's on the Twin Pines Video Instagram.
There
There's a
you
link
go.
for American Lionheart on Threadless.
There you go, everybody. And don't forget to go to homeschoolpod.com and click on tour because I'm coming to Portland. I'm coming to Seattle. And then I'll be in Boston, Massachusetts. And just announced today, September 20th, I will be in Maui, Hawaii.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
so
cool, dude.
tickets for that will be...
Can I get on that show?
I don't know about that one, buddy. But you guys, tickets are coming shortly for that one. I think by this week that you can get tickets for that. But just make sure you're already going to homeschoolpod.com and make sure you're already following me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, so that you don't miss a show when I'm coming to your town. And please buy a T-shirt so when you show up at the show, you're already rocking a shirt and supporting. And all that money goes to help pay the comedians and the travel because I got to bring these guys on the road with me and stuff, and it gets expensive. So, like I said, if I'm breaking even this year, it's fine. I'm building my business. I'm selling myself now, and my career comes first. And so if you can support homeschoolpod.com, click on merch. And that's it, everybody. Thanks, Kev. Thanks for doing it. It was great to have you back on here. You look good.
Hey,
Your
man,
camera looks
I
good.
love doing it. Except for this light. It keeps on making noise. Dude, I have to find a better way to do this backlight because it's just propped up on my extra movies chair right now.
Oh, yeah.
I need to fasten one to a wall somewhere, get a better stand.
Yeah, dude, figure that shit out because it almost fell on your head before.
Yeah, it's a little LED.
I feel like that's forgetting something, but no, we're good. That's it. Dude, you're always welcome. You're always the co-host of this podcast, so whenever you want to be on with us, do it. I just know you're busy and you're also back in school and working on your own production stuff constantly. So when you have time, dude, you're always welcome.
Well, yeah. Hey, man, start getting in shape because I need you for a film project, dude. We're
Stop telling me I'm too fat to do your movie.
No, I know. It has nothing to do with how you look. I need you physically fit to run a lot. We were scouting a location up in the desert, and we had to push it back because it's so hot there. The costumes that we made, the foam, it's just going to instantly all become unglued.
So when are you thinking? Like September?
Probably September, but we can always film the other half that doesn't need to be in the desert before then too. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool too. Yeah, that's a good idea. The stuff not in the desert, we can do a little early. Stuff in the desert, we can do it. And that's perfect time for me to really focus and get in shape because I'm going on vacation in September in Maui. I planned my vacation around my gig. So okay. I'm there for like 5 days, but in the middle I just do the gig really quick. It's a one-nighter. So everything becomes a write-off so for my vacation, but I'm like determined to be like in shape for my vacation, fucking shirtless on the beach, bro.
Do it. Well, I don't know about that.
So early September, I'll be in good shape for us to do that desert stuff, but we definitely shouldn't wait that long to film the other stuff.
No, we're not.
If you're
No, we're
down,
not.
dude. If you're down.
Dude, I'm always down, man. It's you're the busy one. You're the
I know.
popping off to Dubai.
I know.
Texas, everywhere, dude. So
But you know what? June was my craziest because it was every weekend in June, but now I only have one in July, one in August, one in September. So besides that,
Alright.
I'm home. Let's do the documentary and let's film your thing. Thanks,
Sounds
buddy.
good.
Let's
Thank
team
you.
up.
Let's do it. Hang 10.
Fucking Homeschooled
bro.
Entertainment and fucking Too High McFly Productions. Let's team up for this shit, bro.
We got you.
All right, later, dude.
Let's do it. All right.
See ya. Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
No, okay.
I don't want to do that at all.